I know for a fact. I'm just guessing also, really.
Yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? I hope you're right. So you should be, because it is Friday. TGIF, am I right? What is it? Friday, June 28th. Happy birthday to my niece. That's pretty cool. I'm your host, James Clements. You can see my ugly mug on Fox Sports Lab NBA. You can see it on the AFL Today show. You can also see it on the official AFL Supercoach podcast. All the good stuff. Here, back in Larry Armour Studios, like I was at 6 a.m. this morning, doing a live stream of the second round of the NBA draft to finally see our boy, Johnny Furphy, Tins himself, our old mate Froths, got drafted by the Pacers. Sure. Becoming the first Aussie, presumably, on the Pacers. Asterisks is everywhere, but we'll get to that later. So today's show, we've got the second round of the NBA draft to basically break down, just go through it all. And then what we'll do is just go through every team and give them a draft grade and sort of see who they've got, what happened, how it all fits. And then very, very briefly, because it's happening this weekend into Monday, so we'll be back on Monday morning to do the free agency show. So we'll set you up for free agency, talk about the free agents out there, what may or may not happen. We've also already had a lot of them taken off the board, so we'll get into that. So should be a fun one. Draft grades. I think you got an A+ for being the best audience out there. Oh, isn't that nice? All right, let's get into it. Episode 1122. That's 1122 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze, and you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better start watching out for the unsigned, undrafted free agent signings, just avalanche. God, that was chaos. It always happens as well. Literally, as soon as the draft is finished, like Woj and Shams have already got like all the drafts written out. And it's like, this guy's signing with these guys. Oh, and you're like, all right, nerd, settle down. Right, but let's do it. Let's start today's show the way we start every show here in NBA Straya with the daily. I believe it's some sort of whip around. That's right. So we were up at 6. We're up at 5:30, but we jumped on the live stream at 6 a.m. Had a tin to celebrate Johnny Furphy being drafted by the Pacers. Very cool. That leaves one remaining NBA team to not actually have an NBA player suit up for them. Jinglin' Joe Ingles did play for the LA Clippers in preseason, but was cut before the season started. Fingers crossed, Froths actually makes it to the Pacers roster in time for the season to start. What I will do is actually go through and just like park a specific page somewhere, probably on NBAstraya.com, about where all the players have been, because I have been asked, who played for Charlotte, Jim? And I'm like, well, Mango Mathiang did a couple of years back. Very easy there. Obviously, I mentioned Jack White became the first Memphis Grizzly. Patty Mills knocked Miami off the list as well. Dyson Daniels, obviously, in New Orleans. You think about some of the folks over the years. Obviously, Minnesota's been a very fun stopping place for Aussies. Mitch Creek even got there in Brooklyn. So did Patty Mills. Ben Simmons is right there right now. The Knickerbockers had Luke Longley, don't forget. Might have only fiend for a little bit, but there you go. Bangers was in Toronto. He was also in Phoenix. Jonah Bolden was in Phoenix as well. Bogut was on the Lakers. Like this sort of stuff, you know. So it's always, you know, a nice reminder to go, hang on, who hasn't played where? And it's the Clippers. The Clippers curse is also the non-Aussie, like, player curse, which, as I've said time and time again, you're not going to win a bloody title until you've got an Aussie on your team. It's not rocket surgery. Come on, Clippers, lift your bloody game. Steve Ballmer, you might have more money than God, but you're apparently as dumb as dog shit, mate. Get your shit sorted. Go get an Aussie. What are you doing? Come on, Steve. Better yet, you can just hire me as your vice president of common sense. I'd be like, hey, don't just fucking hook your entire franchise up to Kawhi Leonard. The bloke's a lunatic. Anyway, good stuff. Any other news before we jump into the second round of the draft? We had a million little trades and stuff. So, like, Sacramento and Toronto traded Jalen McDaniels from the Raps to Sacramento in exchange for Davion Mitchell and Sasha Vezenkov and number 45, which is pretty interesting. AJ Griffin goes to Houston from Atlanta for the 44th pick. AJ Griffin was like, what, the 16th pick 2 years ago? OKC sent Lindy Waters 3 to Golden State for pick number 52. OKC ended up back with it, I think, at some point. It's all chaos. No, Golden State ended up with it back at 52 because it got to the Knicks and then came back to the Warriors. Detroit sent 53 to Minnesota for Wendell Moore and 37. And then there was a bunch of other sort of like moving ups and downs in the second round for cash considerations, etc., including for our man Furphy, where Indy moved up ahead of the Spurs, switched spots with them, and gave them a bit of cash for their trouble. Just got to grease those skids, man. Just got to grease them skids. So, should we just do it? Let's do the second round of the NBA draft. What happened? Bronny James got bloody drafted. That's what happened. It's the only thing that mattered, apparently, if you ask anybody on the ESPN broadcast. I get that the greatest player of his generation's son is playing with him. That's cool. I think it's awesome. I think it is absolutely unreal that LeBron has been this healthy and this good and is still in the bloody NBA, and his son has been drafted by his team. And they're always going to draft him because LeBron's got them over for a barrel. It's like, draft my son, sign him to a guaranteed deal, or I'll just piss off. Sign him, and I'll be like, what's going on, man? Let's bloody do it. Off we go. That's going to be fun. So, if you sign him, I'll sign a 3-year deal. I'll stick around till I'm 40 bloody 2. What do you reckon? And it's like, all right, well, fuck it. We'll just go with LeBron. So that's what they did. So Bronny James is a Laker. That was the biggest news out of it all. Outside of that, Team USA, including Kawhi, are all getting sort of settled in with Team USA. They're actually going to happen and go to camp. So that's pretty cool. That 12 dudes is still just pretty terrifying when you look at it and you're like, oh, God, okay. So, KD, LeBron, Steph, bloody hell. Jeez, clamps. Anyway, good times, great memories. Let's do it the second round, though. At number 31, 1. The Raptors took Jonathan Mugbo. Like that one. He's an interesting cat. Kyle Filipowski, very interesting dude as well from Duke. He goes to the Yaz at number 32. Number 33, the Milwaukee Bucks is Algonquin for the good land. Not if you're an Aussie. They take Tyler Smith from the G League Ignite. Block. The Blazers took Tyler Kolek, but that was traded to the Knickerbockers. The Spurs took Furphy, but he got traded to the Pacers at 35. The Spurs got Juan Nunez. Love that. Number 36. At number 37, the Pistons traded with the Wolves to take our man, Bobby Clintman, from the Cairns Taipans. The Knicks drafted AJ Mitchell. That was traded to the Thunder. Jalen Wells was drafted by the Grizzlies from Washington State. The Blazers traded this to the Suns at number 40, Osho Ighodaro. I love that name. And the 76ers, I actually really like this pick. Spoiler alert. Not only because his name is rad, Adam Boner. Adam Boner! Oh, get Adam Boner! That's what I say to my penis. Get him, Adam Boner. Adam, get him. God. The good thing is old mate doesn't listen. Hornets drafted KJ Simpson at 42. The Heat took Nikola Jurisic, but he got traded to the Hawks from KK Mega Basket. Always love that. The Rockets drafted Pele Larson. That was traded to the Miami Heat. Cam Christie. Oh, wait, no, we've skipped 45. 45, Jamal Shed was traded to the Raptors. That was that 45 in the Sacramento-Toronto trade. 46, the Clippers got Cam Christie. So I think in the mock that we did on Tuesday, I had him just in the top 30. I think I had him going to Boston. But at the same time, if Furphy had been available there, he should have just gone to Boston because what are they doing? Antonio Reeves from Kentucky was drafted by the Magic, but was reportedly traded to the Pelicans. Nice. Harrison Ingram, drafted by the Spurs at 48. Pacers took Tristan Newton, 49. 50, they took Enrique Freeman. Ricky Freeman. Love that. The Knicks took Melvin Ajinça, but that was traded to the Mavs at 51. 52, the Warriors took Quinton Post. That was traded to the Thunder, then to the Blazers, and then back to the Warriors. What a world. The Pistons took Cam Spencer at 53. That was traded to the Grizzlies. And 54, the Celtics took Anton Watson. Interesting. Interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff.
Because the Boston Celtics were cowards and did not take Bronny James at 54 to force the Lakers to give up something to go get LeBron's son. So they take Bronny James at 55. Everybody else in the NBA who basically drafted in the second round up until 54, hang your heads in shame, you bunch of cowards. 56, the Suns drafted Kevin McCullough Jr. He was traded to the Knicks as well. The Grizzlies took Ulrich Komchi from the African NBA Academy? Kind of cool. Traded to the Raptors as well there. And then the Mavs. They traded this pick to the Knickerbockers, and they took our very own Ariel Hukporti. So, at last count, that's a bunch of NBL dudes, isn't it? So you got Ariel Hukporti. I also love that in the NBA, they're just like, oh, he played for MHP Recent. I mean, well, that's a weird way to spell Melbourne United. But anyway. Obviously, Bobby Klintman. Who else was there? There was our man AJ Johnson. That is still wildly head-scratching. And, of course, Alex Sarr. So great job by the NBL. Great job by Liam and all the guys in the Next Stars program. I love that. So that was the second round. Some interesting sort of ups and downs. First things first though, I absolutely love that this was on a second day because it gave every team, rather than just the weird sort of pick swaps at the end of a night where everyone's had a couple of beers and no one knows what the fuck's going on. This was much more planned, I feel like, and it all rolled out in a much more coherent fashion. I mean, I was sorting the squids out. Like I stopped after Furphy got drafted. So he was at 35. I think we pulled the plug on the live stream just after Bobby Klintman got drafted at 37. You're like, all right, sick. We'd been fucking doing it for an hour. And I'm like, yeah, one of the squids is already up. Old mate's got to get to work. And the baby was still asleep. And we're like, this is great. He's just like, Dad, what the hell do you want? I'm like, buddy, you got to get up and go to daycare. He's like, what the fuck I do, old man? Anyway, point being, like, as all this is rolling out, I'm still able to track it on my phone, and I just chucked it on the big tally in the lounge room, and they were just like, Dad, what's going on? I'm like, this is the second round of the NBA draft, boys. Get used to this. So they were enamored with it. It was great. It was really easy to follow. I love it across 2 days. Anyone who has a sugar goes, oh, it's unfair to people in the green room who don't get drafted, then don't fucking go. It's not rocket surgery. If you aren't 100% guaranteed to go in the first round, fucking save yourself the hassle. Like, it's awesome walking up there. Cool. Just go hang up in the stands. Don't accept the green room invitation if you're on the fucking bubble, if you reckon, right? Just go sit up in the stands. It's a good day anyway. You're probably getting put up. Off you go. Anyway, it was cool. I love the 2-day event. Let's fucking keep that going. As your vice president of common fucking sense, I say winner. Right. Let's do, though, some draft grades for every team in the NBA after the first and second rounds. Now, this will all sort of be set up. Like, we've had the massive Mikal Bridges trade. We've had OG Anunoby re-sign. We've seen Bam Adebayo extended. So OG being off the board is pretty massive, as is Malik Monk. And the draft sort of happens in this weird little vacuum as you can re-sign your own players and negotiate with them. But free agency doesn't start until, I believe, our Monday, right? The 1st of July. So we're in this weird little spot where it's like, okay, all of your future is untold, each of these teams. But what we do know is that you have these players. So did you do a bloody good job? As your resident fucking principal of basketball right here on NBA Straya, I say, here's your report cards, everybody. Let's do it. Atlanta Hawks, first cab off the rank. They had the number 1 pick as well. They took Zachary Risachet and at number 1, pretty cool, and Nikola Jurisic at 43. I didn't mind the Jurisic trade. That's pretty cool. The weird thing is Risachet, it just stinks. I have to give them a B- just overall, right? Because I feel like you probably, like, Risachet helps this team. At number 1, you might go, how much? And is it enough to make us good? And the answer is probably not going to put you over a hump with this current team. My entire vibe, if you've got the first pick in the NBA draft, I know that you want to get your fan base fucking excited, all this sort of shit. At the same time, at some point you go, what are we doing? Like, is this the guy? Is there a guy who can actually help us more than maybe him? Can we trade back? Can we get more assets? What can we get for that trade? Fuck it. I'm still giving him a B- because I like Ricochet next to Trae Young, next to Dejounte Murray, next to Jalen Johnson. You get a long fucking 6'8", 6'9" defender. Cool. Can he dribble? Can he shoot? These are the question marks. I love Jalen Johnson. I think anything that sort of helps him out on the perimeter, good. But by the same token, here we go. Nikola Jurisic, I don't mind that either. He's a pretty fun player. He's just like a sort of random kind of, all right, what, the guy from Mega Basket and stuff. It's just another tall European wing. And you're like, okay, got to catch them all apparently. They're just fucking Pokemon at this point for the Hawks. He's got a pretty ball that he shoots, right? But he's never quite been that great of a shooter, so it's a strange one. And they took the Serb, and off you go. He's just doesn't seem like he's that great. So I'm going to give him a B-. Ricochet helps. I don't think he helps enough. This could easily, actually, fuck it. We're going C+. That's been too nice. Blow your B+ out your ass. B- out your ass. C+ it is for Atlanta. Brooklyn. Wait, no, they're not yet. Boston. I'm giving them a D. Why is that, Jim? They got Baylor Shireman. He's a bloke who can shoot. That's what they need. Well, they got a white shooter. He's like 4 years fucking older than Johnny Furphy and like nowhere near as goddamn athletic. Piss that off. Go get Johnny Furph's Boston. You'd have the next fucking Larry Bird, mate. What are you doing? Anton Watson at 54. Sure. I'm going to give them... So he's like the senior from Gonzaga. He's like a big forward kind of dude. But he's almost 24. They've just gone 2 old dudes. And you're like, cool, we won the title. We're just going to get some old dudes. We've already got, was it 8 of the players that had 20 minutes in the finals? They're all still under contract. So just fucking, they're just like, we don't care. I'm going to give him a D because you could have taken Johnny Furphy, gone a little bit younger, let him learn behind all the other dudes. He's white. You would have fucking loved that, Boston. So I'm just saying. Should have taken Furphy, took Baylor Shireman. You screwed the pooch. Blow it out your ass. D. Brooklyn Nets, A+. But Jim, they didn't take any picks. That's right. That's how you tank. That's great tanking. Because do you know how like easy it would have been for Sean? Oh, Sean Marks, bro. Hello, it's it's the Brooklyn Nets GM here. Bro, I just wanted to know what's going on with some of your picks. Do you want to trade them to us, eh? And then everybody's like, how about a pick in this year's draft? And Sean Marks is like, no, thanks, bro. I'll just push that pick a little bit further, eh? And away they go. Because they would have been throwing fucking shit tons of picks at them for like the likes of Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, probably not Simo, but like that sort of stuff, right? And they've gone, nah, we're good. Powder dry. We're going to be shit next year anyway. We've pissed off Mikal Bridges. We've got 1 million fucking picks next year and year on year on year on year on year. Cool. Keep your powder dry. That's an A+ move. You're going to be tanking. You're going to be absolutely fucking shit next year anyway, right? So getting your pick back from the Rockets next year is the massive goal. You got it. Fucking laughing. Great job, Nets. Charlotte, D. But Jim, they took Tijan Salon at 6. Yeah, fuck that. Trade back, you idiots. What are you doing? KJ Simpson at 42. He was like the 3rd player from Colorado drafted, and you're like, sure. And he was like somehow like the best player for them. Averaged like 19 points, but pretty good shooter. Don't mind that for Charlotte, KJ Simpson, but do you trust Charlotte to not fuck this up? Salon's a project at 6. They could have traded back. What are you doing? Chicago Bulls! They got an A-, but now it's an A because his brother cried so much. I was saying Buzelis at 11. They take Matas Buzelis, the local product, even though his parents are Lithuanian. He sounds like he's just some kid from a John Hughes movie. He is a fascinating setup in that Bulls mix, right? Because they've got Patch Williams that they might have to bring back. They've got DeMar DeRozan there as free agents. So Buzelis at least gives them at least a direction. Next to Giddey, there was like, they just got, again, way younger while also having like a bunch of young dudes. So I don't trust Chicago to do the right thing and just go, fuck it, we'll bring back Patch and we'll piss DeMar off and trade Zach LaVine, but we'll see what happens. Either way, I love that his brother cried so much. They get an A for that. They get the local kid, who it means heaps to play for, his local, team. That's awesome. I give him the A as well because they made that fucking kid cry so much that he's going to get picked on by his brother for the rest of his life. It's like, hey, remember when you cried when I got drafted? You fucking nerd. I love it. Cleveland. Oh, geez. Cleveland. C+, because they got Jalen Tyson, which is, as I've said, is like the dyslexics combination of Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. The thing is, they could have gone for someone like Keyshawn George, like the same sort of 3-and-D prospect. They went with the older guy. He shot it okay 2 years ago. Wasn't as great last year. But either way, they just needed a wing. They kind of got one. I don't think they got the right one. Prove me wrong, Jalen Tyson. Dallas Mavericks, B-. They traded in at number 51. They got Melvin Ajinça. I just love, they should get a bit. This is not a C+ for the simple fact that they got a dude named Melvin. That is awesome. Denver, they get a B- as well because they got a dude named Daron Holmes. You can fucking have a D and a little A and then a big R as much as you want in Daron Holmes. I'm still going to fucking call you Darren. Settle down, mate. But this is the thing. They trade up with Phoenix. So this is pick number 22. They get Daron Holmes in the first round. Away you go. You get your dude. Calvin Booth is very, very, very vociferous in the idea of like, who we like, we'll just go get him. And we'll make them work. And you're like, all right. DeAndre Jordan's like, oh, man. This is going to be weird. But a high-flying big man. Let's do it. Daron Holmes. The Detroit Basketball Pistons picked Ron Holland at number 5 and Bobby Clintman at number 37. They get a C- because I love the Bobby Clintman pickup, even though they've got a million sort of big dudes. He's sort of like a weird tweener. I'm kind of a big dude. I'm kind of not. I'm a big forward, but I'm kind of not. Who knows? He can shoot a little bit from 3. He shot 36% from 3, I think, in the NBL. But Ron Holland at 5. Oh, but Jimmy can score. Yeah, but he can't fucking shoot. You know what no one else on that Detroit team can do? Oh, that's right. Fucking shoot. What are you doing, Detroit, you idiots? That's why it's a C-. I love the Bobby Clintman pickup. I hate the Ron Holland pick for them specifically because they've already got Ausar Thompson, who could be more awesome if he just played more. But wow. At number 5, just get yourself someone who can fucking put the ball in the bucket from distance. Like Ron Holland could be fun if he can learn to shoot because they've now got a new shooting coach as well. Was it Fred Vincent they picked up from New Orleans? I just worry that between Cade, Jaden Ivey, Ausar Thompson, and their 87 centers that there's still going to be no spacing on that horrible, horrible Detroit team. The Golden State Warriors, they just get a D. I love it that they traded out, traded in, traded out again, traded in. Seriously, it's hilarious. Like they traded to OKC. Lindy Waters, then got it back from the Knicks after another trade. So that was pretty fun. But Quinton Post was like a dude who's already 24, doesn't shoot it great, and you're just like, okay, I'm not entirely sure about this one. He's a weird-looking dude. He definitely looks like someone who might, I don't know, a few years in, you're like, hang on a second, what's this like sort of complaint coming against him from his college days? I don't know, it's weird. It's just a strange one. It's over 24. He's 7 foot. He's got a wingspan of 7'2". It's like, okay. He's a stretch 5, they reckon, but I don't know about his stuff inside, so it's a bit of a strange one. Houston, I give them A-. I don't mind the Reed Shepherd pick because Reed Shepherd, as much as I've laughed at him for being the fucking LinkedIn lawyer, and he's got the worst haircut in the draft, the dude can shoot the piss out of it. So at 3, fuck it. Like, what are you going to do? Take Donovan Clingan, piss off Şengün? Nah. Go get some shooting. Let him learn from Fred VanVleet to learn all the Fred VanVleet shit. Don't let him anywhere near just Dylan Brooks and Reed Shepherd on the same team is fucking hilarious to me. But I'll give him an A-. Like, does Ime Udoka trust him? Can he play him? Either way, they traded out of the second round, sending that 44 pick to Atlanta for AJ Griffin. Don't mind that move. But yeah, the Reed Shepherd pickup, I like it. Just another bite at the cherry, I guess, for them. Going, we've got a bunch of young, awesome dudes already. So let's get another one who can actually shoot the piss out of it. Indiana, they get an A+++ because they took Johnny Furphy at 35. Great job, Indy. I love yous. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Now play him. or I'll fight ya. Tristan Newton at 49 and Ricky Freeman as we call him, at number 50. So no first round pick for the Pacers, but they get first round value as they get Johnny Furphy at 35. And then the other two guys they picked up, Ricky Freeman and Tristan Newton, are a couple of 23-year-olds as well. So it's a nice mix of talent that they've added to that Eastern Conference Finals team. As I mentioned, though, on the live stream, it's a bit of an interesting fit for Johnny Furphy because you look at that sort of depth chart there in Indy, and they do have a little bit of stuff on the wings already, but Frost is fucking 19. So you could probably sit him for a year, send him off to the NBL just to hang out, develop his game a little bit more. Because they've already got, so you've got obviously Tyrese Halliburton, Andy Nemhard, you've got Naismith, you've got Benny Shepherd, you've got Benny Matherin, you've got Dougie McBuckets. It's a lot of dudes sort of in that wing rotation, at least the perimeter rotation. The thing is, Johnny Furphy's a little bit bigger, so you can probably go, all right, legit small forward into your sort of 3-4s, shooting wing. So outside of that, is he a better prospect, obviously, for them than Dougie McBuckets? Of course. Benny Matherin and he, I kind of love that. Next to Tyrese Halliburton, so let's go Furfs. Love it for Froths. Interested to see if he actually continues developing and if they actually let him go hang out somewhere else for another year and bring him in a year later. I'd love to see him out there next year, but it might benefit him a little bit more just to sit for a year. We'll see what happens. The Clippers get a B+ for picking up Cam Christie at 46. I didn't mind this at all. He's the brother of Max Christie, who plays for the Lakers. He, as a one-and-done player, was pretty bloody good. So he's also 18. Don't mind that. I liked his sort of like, if you look at some of the tape, you're like, he sort of projects as a really kind of nice, fun, crazy athletic dude. So don't mind a bit of Cam Christie for the Clippers. They just need cheap young talent. That's what they got at 46. That's a win. That's a B+ in my book. The Lakers, the Lakers get a B+. Dalton Connect at 17. Cool. Bronny James at 55. This is more about the value for Connect at 17 than fucking tickling the balls and pleasing one LeBron James by taking his son. But do not get me wrong. I think playing with your son in the NBA is an absolutely insane and fucking awesome thing. Do you know how incredible that is? LeBron has been in the NBA that long. His son is now grown, has gone to uni, and is now at fucking like the drafting stage and has been picked up by the LA Lakers because his dad runs the organization and has it under his thumb. That is iconic shit. I think it's awesome. If I wasn't a big Gumby and had, actually any fucking Skerrick skill to pass down to the kids, I'd be stoked at that sort of shit if they did something like that. If they, it's awesome. If the 5-year-old turns into like a world-beating podcaster, I'd be like, fucking yes, following in your old man's footsteps, bro. But as a development project, sure. I mean, he's still kind of long. He's not crazy athletic. He can't really shoot that great, but I don't know. Send him down to Australia for a year. Make LeBron hang around for an extra year. What do you reckon? Anyway, Lakers get a B+. I love the Connect fit. At 17, like you take him at 17, you take Bronny at 55. It does kind of feel like, oh, God, it didn't really help us too. We got a little bit of shooting out of Connect, a little bit of extra scoring. Cool. Can you play him on defense when you've got D'Lo, Rui, other dudes on this roster where it's like a bit of a question mark? It gets a bit wonky very quickly. But the Lakers, look, they filled a position of need and they made LeBron happy. That's a B+. How excited do you reckon JJ Redick was for that Bronny pick? Anyway, the Memphis Grizzlies, they get to see the Zach Edey pick. I'm going to go back and forth on this time and time again. He's massive. His offensive game is chaos. But 9 still felt pretty fucking like a bit rich for me. He's massive. But how's his defensive mobility and stuff like that? How's his lateral movements? Everyone's like gushing about, just imagine him in the pick and roll with Ja. And you're like, yeah. But what are they going to do? You have to go over every screen? I'm pretty sure you can go around a lot of them. Ja's not going to kill you from downtown unless he starts doing it, which would be fun. But still, I think he sort of gives them a fun little wrinkle. But at 9, it was a bit of a reach. Jalen Wells at 39, Cam Spencer at 53 from Detroit. I want to see this. I gave them a C because it's just a middle ground thing. Wells shot 42% from 3 last year. He's 6'8". That's not bad. Spencer's not bad as well. Dude from Yukon. The entire Grizzlies sort of setup. Maybe Edie unlocks it all. I just have more questions than anything. It's going to be fascinating to see how he fits next to Triple J. They needed this. Off they go. Miami, they get a C minus. Every time. Kalal Ware at 15. This is a little bit more project than I probably would have liked for a team that's in a win now sort of spot. I would have absolutely loved to have seen them to go up and go get Devin Carter, but oh well, too bad. So instead, they get Kalal Ware, big shooting dude, so that's fine. It'd be interesting to see if he can go and play next to Bam. Like, everyone's like, oh, he's a shooting big. He took 43s in total this year. But still, you can sort of see him growing into just an absolute weapon on that fucking crazy Miami team. And Pele Larson, number 44. He's a Miami shooter. Yep, from Arizona. Checks out. They love that, don't they? But that's a C minus for me, just because I'm like, 15, probably could have just traded up and actually sort of fixed your team a little bit. Don't know if I like this. The Milwaukee Bucks, they get an F. Why is that, Jim? Because they got AJ Johnson. Oh, but he was really highly rated. Yeah, then he was really shit in the NBL. Like, he's 19. How do you reckon that's going to go with fucking Doc Rivers in charge there in Milwaukee? Spoiler alert, I'll fix that for you. Yeah, not great. Doc's going to be like, this guy fucking sucks. I hate him. What are we doing here? You fucked me. God damn it. Tyler Smith goes number 33. So 23, they get AJ Johnson from Illawarra. Tyler Smith goes 33. He's just a little bit too small. He's still kind of athletic as AJ, but geez. This is a team that's like, window is right fucking now. That's why they get an F. They needed somebody who could play right now. I understand that it's, but we need a bit of talent in the pipeline. Yeah, but Dame Lillard is old as shit. Jay Crowder's old as shit. Brook Lopez is old as shit. Middleton is old as shit. Are you seeing a theme there? Yeah, they're old as shit. You got to help Giannis. What are you doing? Or else he signed his extension. In a year's time, he might be like, that's fucked. I'm out of here. You got to get him some help. And Smith is kind of like a floor spacing big that's like, okay, so are you going to try to basically be Bobby Portis next to Bobby Portis? Cool. Sure. Minnesota. They get a B. I really like the Rob Dillingham roll of the dice. How do we put a little bit more talent around Ant-Man, Cat, and Rudy Gobert? And if his defensive limitations are going to be covered up by any team, it's by us, with the two giant dudes behind him at all times. And, Jaden McDaniels and stuff on the perimeter next to Ant-Man. He can learn from Mike Conley, who's going to be 37. Like, don't mind it. His ball handling, his shooting, it's kind of fun. Could be crazy. He's 6'1". But, I mean, shit. He gave up a 2031 unprotected pick. They've just gone, fuck it. We need to be good right now because we are fucking good right now. Let's go. We made a Western Conference Finals. Roll the dice. Terrence Shannon, though, was a bit of a head scratcher. That's why it's been knocked down to a B. They take him at 27. He's already old as hell. And I'm just like, he was like a fifth-year senior, I think, this year. And you're like, yeah, it was okay from 3, but fucking hell. All I want is like 3 and D if I'm Minnesota. And I don't know if his 3 and D is good enough at 27. New Orleans, they get a B. I didn't mind Yves Missy at 21. They've sort of just drafted for need there, and it was a perfect sort of fit with Jonas Valanciunas as a free agent. And they took Antonio Reeves, 47, in a trade with Orlando. That's all right. I'll take that. Good job, my New Orleans. Just get another big dude in there. They've got a million shooters. The thing is trying to figure out how Yves Missy is a bit of a rim runner works next to Zion. I don't know, but we're about to find out, I guess, sometimes. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City, they get a B- after all the moves. So they start off with, 24 and 25. They end up with 25. They take Pakami Dadeye. Dadeye? There you go, Dadeye. As I called him on the live stream, Dad Diet, a.k.a. My Diet, which is just tins. Yep, good stuff. Or Da Diet, which is like a skinny rapper. Tyler Kolek, though, they get him at 34 from Portland. Kevin McCullough Jr. at 56 from Phoenix, and Ariel Hukporti from Melbourne United at 58. I gave them a B- because for all the moves, like Daddy trading down from 24 to 26 and then back, like they keep 25. He's 18. He's raw as hell. He wants to come over. And you know that Tibbs is going to be like, you're not playing. But they did get a backup point guard in Tyler Kolek as well as Daddy A. Like, it's kind of cool, kind of neat. I'm just not sold on either Daddy A or Kolek. It doesn't matter though. The Knicks are fucking loaded for bear. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Mitch Robinson. If they could figure out Isaiah Hartenstein, away they go. Huck Porty, though, is kind of a fun one. So just as like a bit of Precious Achua sort of, hustle defense, you could see the Knicks fans fucking falling in love with Huck Porty. He has like a couple of moments where you're like, what the fuck was that? But then we'll back it up with some shit that you're just like, what the fuck was that? Are you kidding? He's awesome. So thing is what? He blew his Achilles. Then still came back and looked really good for the back half of last season. OKC, I'm going to give them a C. They got Nikola Topic. Hello, Nikola Topic. At number 12, Dylan Jones, massive reach at 26, and AJ Mitchell at 38 in the trade from New York. So Topic, look, in a vacuum, cool. Again, though, this is OKC going, we're always looking towards the future. I'm like, yeah, that didn't fucking help you when you're getting ass kicked by Dallas in the second round. Your team is good right fucking now. And you get a couple of dudes who are like 18 and shit. Like, it's just a bit weird. Like, AJ Mitchell's a point guard. He's got a bit of size. Shot 39% from three. But he shot 29% the first 2 years prior to that. So, I don't know. He has a partial ACL tear as Topic. So, you can just sort of sit him for next year. But that's kind of the thing. You might need a lot of fucking help this year to get over the hump. You were the 1 seed. And you're like, I would just kick the can down the road and go and reach for our. Look, they'll probably be fucking good. That's what happens when the Thunder make draft picks. But either way, I'm giving it a C. Just for the simple fact is you probably could have gotten a little bit more help, taken a little bit of the scoring load off the likes of SGA and Co. Like, the fact that they took Topic instead of Devin Carter, I don't like that at all. Ugh. Anyway. Tough gear. Even McCain, like someone like that, just will go, yes, plug and fucking play. Cool dude, legend, let's fucking go. And the Thunder are like, no, we always know best. Okay, cool. The Magic, they get an F. Tristan Da Silva, he's not good at much. And they could have gotten Furfs, and they take him at 18. That is fucking gross, Magic, man. It's like, he's big and he can block shots. He doesn't block shots. Can he shoot threes? Yeah, he took 1.9 per game on 39%. Great. You got to stretch kind of big forward. You've got 87 of those anyway. Philly, they get an A-. I love Jared McCain, as I mentioned, but it does feel like Tyrese Maxey and him can just do the Spider-Man meme of pointing to each other. But if they get Paul George, like, this is great. It's a great pick if they get Paul George. If they don't get Paul George and they're like, what do we got? 2 Tyrese Maxeys. Fucking shit. Seriously, got 2 small guards who can light it up. Great. I'm a little bit worried if they don't get a big, guard wing to play with both those dudes. I do love the Adam Boner, though. Adam Boner at 41. I love that. So that's why I'm going to give this it's an A-. Like, I love the Boner pick at 41. The McCain pick, I love it, but it feels vaguely redundant. So A- for the Sixers. Boner is awesome. He's going to be such a fun, wicked backup behind Embiid that you're just going to, like, as long as he gets out there and gets to play, you just be like, yes, this kid rules. Phoenix, they get a B+. They took Ryan Dunn, not the jackass Stark, who died in 2011. Number 28 after the trade with Denver. I love that. Bit of defense on the wings for them. And also Igor Hadaro in 40. Basically adding defensive versatility and a bit of, like, fun sort of stuff. It's not bad. Like, if you sort of roll the dice, it feels like Suns, they're like, yeah, we've already got the fucking offense covered with Booker, Beal, and KD. Can we just do some other stuff? Kind of nice. Blazers, they get an A- for just taking Donovan Clingan, number 7. A- because it's like, all right, you probably could have traded Robert Time Lord Williams at some point. Any time in the last, like, before he fucked his knee. He's got no knees left now, and it sort of feels like they might have backed themselves into a bit of a corner and tanked the trade value of both Ayton and Williams. But if Clingan's your dude, Clingan's your dude. And with the Denny Avdija move, where they trade away from the 14th pick, they send that to Washington. Denny and Clingan at least gives you a bit of a defensive identity heading into, like, next season, next to Shaedon Sharpe, next to Simons, next to Scoot Henderson with our man, Aussie Matty T as well. Like, it could be kind of fun. Don't mind it. So let's go Klingon, bit of Denny, like that. Blazers also traded out of their 2 second rounders for future second rounders. So they do have a lot of young dudes already. Tumani Kamara, I didn't even say him. Like, fucking hell. You want some fun defensive versatility. You now got it. Sacramento, B+, for the simple fact they got Devin Carter. And then as we were talking about on the live stream, it's like, but they've already got Davion Mitchell. And then they went, no, we don't. Fuck you, Jim. We're trading him to Toronto. And you're like, okay, now I like this. Devin Carter next to De'Aaron Fox. It's kind of cool. Kind of don't mind it. Suddenly you've got a bit of a Jrue Holiday, Derek White, double-headed fucking awesome backcourt vibe. I kind of dig this. Let's bloody go. Now they've also got Keon Ellis. Remember when he was starting in place of Kevin fucking Huerter down the back end of the season? He looked really good and was really, really handy. So I like Carter a lot. So give me, the Devin Carter. I'm going to give the Sacramento Kings an A because I just like the Carter pick a lot because they then moved on from Davion Mitchell, which is also like a bit of a worry because they just keep fucking this up. But anyway, the Spurs, they get an A-. They took Stephon Castle at 4. Love that pick. Juan Nunez, they get in the trade with Indy at 36 and Harrison Ingram at 48. The more that I've sort of thought about it, the more I've liked the idea that the Spurs have gone, when Wemby is the best player in the NBA in 7 years' time, where you have an unprotected Minnesota pick and an top 1 protected Minnesota swap in 2030. Those could be pretty handy, and I feel like it might end up being better than having Rob Dillingham. You know? So Castle is fun. Really bloody good. He's fun. He's athletic. He's defensive. He can play make a little bit. He wants to be a bit more of a playmaker. I want to see him shoot a little bit better. And Ingram as well. A bit of a shooter as well. Same with Nunez. Interesting playmaker. He's not that big. They might keep him overseas, but that's all right. Juan Nunez to the Spurs at 36. Love the Castle pick, though. A- across the board for the Spurs because, they basically went, right, we needed a pretty handy wing guard to put next to Wemby. We did that. We've got a project point guard. We've got a shooter as well. Cool. A-. I just love Castle. Toronto, they get a B+. They took Jacoby Walter. He's a pretty interesting dude. At 19, it's just more shooting on the wing next to Grady Dick. And Mogbo is kind of fun. That dude is not massive, but he plays massive, which is kind of fun. So let's go Toronto. Jamal Sheed and Ulrich Komchi as well in the second round. So Mogbo at 31, Sheed at 45, and Komchi at 57. We're giving the Raptors a B+. The biggest question is, what the fuck is that team? You've got Jacoby Walter. Right, he's named after Jordan and Kobe, with apparently his parents not knowing how to spell Jordan, but still. The sort of question, it's all right, we let OG Anunoby go. We traded Siakam for peanuts. OG goes and gets paid by the Knicks. We get RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. Cool. We've got Kelly Olynyk now. All right, neat. Ochai Agbaji, sure. Wait, no, he ended up in Cleveland. It's just, there's a bunch of question marks on this Toronto team. They let Fred VanVleet walk. They let fucking Kyle Lowry walk. What are they doing? Messiah's a genius. It's I don't know. He's geniused himself out of a title contender into a shit team that doesn't seem to have too much direction. But you can sort of see the nuts and guts of it with RJ, Scoob, Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, a bit of shooting, a bit of interesting playmaking. Dudes who can just put the ball on the floor a little bit. Don't mind it. So I'll give them a B+ Toronto. Utah Jazz. That's a B-. Cody Williams. I love Cody Williams. The Filipowski one, it's cool. They also, hang a second. I'm going to give that a B because they got Collier. Let's go B+. Cody Williams and Collier, handy. You've now got a couple of really, really cool, you got a point guard and a wing. And now you got Kyle Filipowski, a big white, big dude. You're going to love that, Utah fans. I love that there's stories now popping off about Filipowski. It's he's got an older girlfriend. It's all right. She convinced him to be Mormon. All right. He's in Utah. He's fucking stoked. So I can see why all the other teams are we're fine. But B+ for the Jazz. Didn't mind it. The Cody Williams fit is going to be interesting, though. So just keep an eye on that. Collier, he had a down year. but he was pretty highly rated going in. And finally, the Washington Wizards, A-. Alex Sarr at number 2, Bub Carrington at 14, best hair in the draft, Keyshawn George at 24. I think that's like 3 pretty good prospects, but I just don't know if Sarr is that good. Having watched a bunch of him, you're like, it's still going to take a while for this to work out. And like, what's his top end talent really top out at? Thing is, like, none of them are older than 20. They're all very young. Bilal Coulibaly's really young still as well. So at least you've got the building blocks there. That's why it's an A-. I just don't know how it all fits together, if it matters. They've still got Kyle Kuzma. They've still got Jordan Poole. They've got Corey Kispert. They've got Johnny Davis. Probably should have taken Johnny Furphy, just saying. But Keyshawn George, sure. Bub Carrington, don't mind that. Fun shooter. Alex Sarr. There's just a few too many question marks in that draft for me for the Wizards. But there you go. That is every team broken down with a draft grade. Don't mind that. Your mate Jim is a bit rooted. Let's come back after a quick break and talk some free agency before it all goes fucking chaos on the weekend. Right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it. Free agency. I'll do a couple of yeah-nahs and we'll finish off the week basically that way with those couple of yeah-nahs, basically about first. But free agency, who's even left? I'll tell you what, not too many people because OG Anunoby, Siakam, Claxton, Malik Monk, they've all signed deals or extensions and stuff, so pack her up, boys. You're done. What does it leave? LeBron James, but you would expect him probably to stay in LA now, considering they drafted his son. Paul George. Where are we sending them? Should we write this down as we send them places? We're going to send PG to the Sixers. That's the most fun outcome. Let's bloody go. Klay Thompson. I kind of just want Klay to stay. But if he doesn't stay, Denver, just go get him on the cheap. Gotta be funny to replace KCP with Klay. Speaking of KCP, the notorious KCP, I think if the Sixers strike out on Paul George, they go after KCP, and every Sixers fan is going to be wildly underwhelmed by the Daryl Morey experience once more, which is just the classic sort of vibe, right? But Klay, I think, is kind of gone. KCP, it very much feels like he's done after Calvin Booth was like, yeah, look, we can probably live without KCP. Christian Brown's just as fucking good, man. You're like, oh, see you, KCP. But there are plenty of teams out there, like it's teams like Memphis or somewhere like that, where you're like an actual veteran fucking guard shooter that can just do all the right things would make a big, big difference for a team like that. So I don't mind that somewhere like, I don't know, who else out there is sort of in the need for a bit of a KCP. I'll tell you, Philly would still fucking love him if they had a little bit of cash left after getting Paul George. A place like Cleveland would be just falling over themselves to get him. He'd be awesome on someone like the Heat. I'll tell you what, if Dallas could swing a KCP move, oh, watch out. Watch bloody out. But he'll end up on like Utah or something. And you're like, okay, sure. Let's say Utah. All right, the rest of them. Tobias Harris, the funniest one. Oh, God, if he just ends up back in like Philly, to be the funny shit in the world. Let's have a look at the cap space teams again and sort of just like see how he sort of fits is like a weird one. Like, right, what is the market for Tobias Harris after he does absolutely fucking nothing on a max deal? And you're like, okay, it's going to be okay. We've got Tobias Harris. And everyone's like, this is not good. I'll tell you. So, Tobias Harris would probably end up somewhere like back in Detroit, which would be pretty funny. They're like, we got a shooter. It's okay. And you're like, oh, God. You guys are idiots. Toronto for Tobias would be very funny. But yeah, give me Detroit for Tobias. He's coming home. He's finally coming home. Oh, we got a veteran to help out. Oh, God. That's the wrong veteran. Who else we got? We've got James Harden. I think he just stays there in the Clippers with Kawhi because I think they just pay him at that point. They just go, fuck it, we can't pay anybody else. Gordon Hayward. I reckon he ends up back in like Utah or Charlotte on the cheap, which would be pretty funny. Maybe back on Boston in the really cheap. Oh, they can't afford anybody. But if you look at the teams with cap space like the Spurs, yeah, maybe the Spurs. Let's send Gordon Hayward to San Antonio. That's a fun one. Failing that, back to Charlotte. We have a bit of cap space. Same with Utah, though, so it could happen. But we've already sent KCP to Utah. Next up, we have Big Booty Car Larry. I think he'll stay in Philly on the cheap. They love him. Just keep him around as a veteran. So he'll stay in Philly. Very nice. DeMar DeRozan there. If Paul George doesn't end up on the Sixers, it would be very funny to see DeMar DeRozan end up there. OKC has a little bit of cap space, which is pretty funny. DeMar, let's say, who are we sending? We're sending KCP to Utah. How about DeMar Sacramento? Ooh. That's a bit of the Bulls Sacramento. No, I reckon he stays in Chicago because they don't know their ass. They're from their elbow. Classic vibes there. Buddy Hield. Let's go. Who needs a shooter? It's like Memphis. Done. Don't know how if they're going to afford him, but he's there. Bruce Brown. Denver have just got to do whatever they can to get him back, don't they? Let's send Brucey Brown back to Denver. Take a pay cut, Bruce. Come on, mate. That's a team option of 23 mil. He might just stay in Toronto, though. We'll see what happens with Brucey Brown. And then the rest of them is like D'Lo with a player option. He might opt into that 18 if there's nothing more out there. I think he stays with the Lakers. You've got Fournier on Detroit. No one cares where he ends up. He'll probably end up like in Portland or some shit. Gary Terrence Trent D'Arby Jr. He is an unrestricted free agent. I think he stays in Toronto as well. Gary Jonas is an interesting one as well. He is a fascinating case at $15 million at the moment. I wonder if Milwaukee don't do a bit of a switcheroo and maybe move out Brook Lopez and bring him in. I don't know how that'll work, but off we go. Gary Harris, Doug McBuckets, Luke Kennard. I don't know if we need to do any more of these because it's all very, very up in the air. Rob Covington could come back to Philly, or he just end up back in like Portland or something. Kennard, look, as a shooter out there, you sort of look at someone like Dallas and go, can we get a Luke Kennard? Can we get into the Luke Kennard business? Like maybe you can. And then there's like the types of Malik Beasley where it's like, oh, he's an idealized version of like a good sort of wing shooter. It's like, but is he? Maybe Milwaukee keep him on the cheap. I don't know if it'll happen though. But the other names out there, Rashawn Holmes, Nick Batum, PJ Tucker, Jinglin' Joe Ingles with a team option down there in Orlando. Talon Horton Tucker, unrestricted free agent. Alec Burks there in New York. James Wiseman with a restricted free agency as well. Monty Morris up there in Minnesota. Royce O'Neal in Phoenix, I expect them to pay him to come back. Slow-mo Kyle Anderson, big interesting conversation there in Minnesota. Patch Williams, that's another big one. I think he stays in Chicago. I just think they don't want to pay the luxury tax. So maybe DeMar or Patch, one of those probably gets sacrificed. If it was me, I'd be like, thanks for everything, DeMar, on your bike, but we'll see what happens. Miles Bridges, sounds like he's going to end up back in Charlotte, which sucks. Isaiah Hartenstein is another big one too. Go to OKC there, Isaiah Hartenstein. They need a big rebounding guy who can play in the playoffs. Mo Wagner, hello. Chetty Osman, Isaac Okoro, Danny Tice, Jay Sean Tate, Caleb Martin for the Heat. Fascinating. They've got to bring him back surely. He turned into Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in one go. Jalen Smith there in Indy. He's got a player option. He might keep a hold of that. Mason Plumlee, Torian the Red Bull Prince, Kyra Lewis Jr., and Rusty Westbrook. What else? Kevin Love, Chuma Okeke, Andre Drummond, Derek Jones Jr., another big one. Eric Gordon's opted out. Big Deke Bay, did his knee. DeAndre Jordan, Patrick Beverly, Jay Crowder, Alex Len, Cody Zeller, the bank teller. So there you go. Alex Len, the Ukrainian stepladder, and Cody Zeller, Justin Holiday, Wesley Matthews, Garrett Temple, JaVale McGee, Tristan Thompson, Markeith Morris, Reggie Bullock. Sniper alert! Down there in Houston. Precious Achua, bless you. Simone there, Fontecchio. Tyrese Maxey's the other big one, but he's a restricted free agent. They can match anything, right? So off they go. Josh Richardson down there with the Heaters. Nawara, Boban, Kelly Oubre. He's on that sort of minimum deal anyway. Campaign, another Sixer. There you go. Josh Okogie, Dario the homie Saric, Emmanuel Quickly, restricted free agent. Torrey Craig. Malachi Flynn on Detroit, Drew Banks, Yuta Watanabe, Damian Jones. Now I'm just saying names. Lonnie Walker the fourth. Actually, had a couple of moments there in Brooklyn this year, so we'll see how it happens with Lonnie. Mo Bumbo, Thanasis, Fee Mihailuk out there in Boston. O'Shea Brissett in Boston. I think he's opted out as well. Jackson Hayes with the Lakers. So these are all the guys who are on basically 1 year deals. Cam Reddish, Luke Cornett, Vlak Kokankar, and Bol Bol. Momo Brown, Jordan McLaughlin. Yeah. But basically, the biggest names out there, it's LeBron, DeMar, Paul George, Clay, James Harden, KCP. Those are the ones that are unrestricted, basically. Restricted dudes, it's obviously Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickly, Big Deke Bay, Simone Fontecchio, Obi Toppin, Patch Williams, Isaac Okoro. So it's going to be chaos. Those are the names you need to keep an eye on. I think Harden sticks around in Clipperland. I think Paul George eventually just... I want to see him on the Sixers because I actually kind of don't mind them if they get Paul George. You have Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey with McCain. Like, that's a fun fucking team. Without Paul George, it gets very squirrely very quickly, and I don't like it. But I feel like Paul George eventually talks the Clippers into just going, all right, 4 years. Okay, fine. Off we go. Clay, get him, Denver. Go get him. Either that or Denver should try to get their man Bruce Brown back somehow. KCP... ends up in Utah. Why not? Tobias Harris back in Detroit. Love that. Gordon Hayward, San Antonio. Just why not? Kick the tires on the old guy. Maybe back in Charlotte. Big Boudicar, Larry stays in Philly. DeMar DeRozan is the big, interesting one. I feel like Chicago really don't want to pay they never want to pay the luxury tax. So he might be out the door if they bring back Patch. So it's that sort of combo. Buddy Hield, Bruce Brown, D'Lo. Yeah, there's not many other sort of needle movers. So there we go. It's going to be fun on the bun. Very quickly, a couple of yeah nahs. Does Johnny Furphy play this year? Yeah, nah. I reckon they bring him in on a two-way or at least just sign him and get him in the G League. Gets him to play in the G League. Comes up on a two-way here and there. And I think he gets out there. They just want to kick the tires on Furfs and see how he goes. So I'm going to say yeah. I reckon it'd be really fun if they sent him down to the NBL for a year just to hang out and do his thing, but otherwise, away we go. Hey, was this a resounding success for 2-day drafts? Yeah, nah, yes. I love that. It was really fun. At the same time, can we just not have the second day of the draft at fucking 4 p.m. America time, which is the dumbest thing? Oh, but we've got a presidential debate. Who cares? Shut up. I want to see these kids get drafted, not two old guys argue incoherently. So piss that off. Right. Anyway. Good stuff. Fun times. That's it for the week. Free agency will start on, Monday morning our time, which would be pretty fucking chaotic. So I will do a show on Monday to wrap up all the movements. Should we keep an eye on the Aussies? Yeah, because we've got a couple of the Aussies that, like Jock Landale, Dyson Daniels. Don't be surprised if you sort of maybe see some of those dudes on the move just because of the simple fact of like, their roles, if you think about Dyson, lottery pick, is he getting enough playing time in New Orleans? Maybe they kick the tires on moving him. Jock Landale as well with the sort of the weird contract that he has where it can be guaranteed or non-guaranteed for next season at that $8.5 million mark. He might be on the move. Who knows? It's going to be fun as well. Maybe one of the big dudes in Portland, etc. Hopefully not our man, the Great Barrier Reef, though. But still, he and Matty too. You never know. You never bloody know. But what a chaotic, awesome draft. Congrats to Johnny Furphy. Froths himself for getting drafted It took a while. It was a bit of a kick in the dick. Classic no bloody Australians NBA anti-Strayan bias bullshit. It was a bit of Adam Silver going, don't draft the Aussie in the first round. They're going to kill us. You're killing me, Adam Silver. All right. It's been a big couple of days. I've done a lot of live streams. I've done a lot of shows. I'm cooked. I'm going to go fuck off, hang out for the weekend, be back Monday with the next NBA Straya to wrap up the free agency. And then we might do another one the following Wednesday. And then we'll probably take a little bit of a breather, a bit of a week break, and sort of then catch you up on all the free agency deals, all the trades, no doubt that'll be happening over the next week and a half. So there you go, bit of a programming note. In the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facebook, IG. We're all over the socials. You know that. Check out NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. We'll be back with that very soon. It's only like 6 weeks to the start of the NFL stuff. And then, of course, AFL Today Show. If you're into the Aussie rules, I love doing that show. It is fun as hell. As well as the Cricket Today podcast, Football Today podcast. Hold all tickets for your GGs. Check a rating review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you're using the Android phone. Do it. Come on, I don't ask for much. I'm out here working my ass off. Just say thanks, Jim. That's all that matters. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube as well. It is very fun having all these up on as a video. So, and we're going to keep making them better and better and better and better. Get around NBAstraya.com/shop. Get some merch. I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. It is bloody comfy, I'll tell you. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Go check out House Hats as well as Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Goldmines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa Extra, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show, so smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth, Facey, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you use to listen to your tunes. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. All right, we'll close out with a classic Cooking with Baynesy, and we will catch tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya. Well, not tomorrow. We'll catch on Monday, you dickheads. Have a great weekend. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And congrats to Johnny Furphy. Tins for everybody. Woo!
Cooking with Baynesy is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
And now it's time for Cooking with Baynesy with your host, Aaron Bangers Baines. Yes. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, look at you over there. Oh, yes. I see you over there, Cheryl. You're here every week. Oh, love you too. Oh, love you too, hon. Yes, look at you. Oh, this is great. Oh, come on. Oh, settle down. Oh, yeah, that's right. Thanks for that. That's Ripper. All right, g'day. Welcome to Cooking with Baynesy, and I'm your host, Aaron Bangers Baines. Yep, that's it. Cooking with Baynesy. I love this. And in this here episode, we are going to whip you up one of my absolute favourite Australian classics that you can have whenever. You can have it for brekkie. You can have it for lunch. You can have it for tea. It is that absolute modern Australian classic. It's avocado toast. Oh, yes. That's right, it's an absolute Aussie classic now, mate. And after I got this recipe from my little mate Deli, I love me some avo toast. And, maybe not as much as my mate Deli, you know what I mean? But anyway, it's easy as, mate. I punch through enough of this that it definitely helps me keep up this physique, you know what I mean? Every brekkie I'm on this train, so I reckon you better jump on board. All right, so it is bloody simple, mate. All you gotta do is go down to your soupy and just grab a loaf of whatever bread you like to toast up. Me, I like a bit of multigrain. I like a little bit more crunch in my toast. Just like the screens I set for the Celtics, a bit of crunch is what I like. Then I grab a ripe old avo, grab a lemon on your way out, and away we go. All right, now,
and this is very important. A lot of people try to do fancy shit to avo toast. And look, you can if you really, really want to get all fancy-pantsy. You can put some goat's cheese on there. You can put some tomatoes in there. You can put a bit of red onion if you feel like it. Sprinkle some of that bullshit ducker, which I think is just fucking crumbs or whatever the fuck shit it is. But anyway, all you actually need to do is keep it simple as, mate. Toast, avo, bit of lemon. So it's simple. Fang your bread in the toaster. Then sit back, crack a tin, and let it all get nice and browned up. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is either. When you're cracking a tin and cooking with Baynesy, it's always time for a tin. So, now, slice up your avo, dump it into a bowl, scoop it out. Yep, there you go. Scoop her out into a bowl. Now, mush that bastard up into a paste. Just mush her up. There you go. Just mush her up. Fuck it. There you go. Yep. Now, once that's done, it's all mushed up, all nice. Get your knife. Now, your toast is done. She's popped up. Get your toast out. Now, slather that avo all over your toast about, you go 1 to 2 inches thick, I reckon. That's how I usually go, eh? Absolute, just smother it in avo. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Then drizzle a bit of lemon on top, and away we go. Just bloody well. Look at that. Put a bit of salt and pepper on top, and all you have to do then, get your bloody munch on. Oh, how good is that? It is an absolute bloody ripper of a treat. The best bit is it's good for any time of day. Brekkie, avo toast. Lunch, avo toast. Tea, avo toast. It's just bloody delicious, mate. And look, of course, you got to make sure you get your avos when they're in season, or else you'll never be able to afford a bloody house. All right, how easy was that? Thanks to my little mate Dally for the recipe, and I hope yous all enjoy it too. All right, avo toast. Legendary. All right, tune in next week for a brand new recipe, and we'll see yous then on the next episode of Cooking with Baynesy.